So in our previous video, I actually showed you how to find the best performing mutual fund in the Philippines. And I shared how you can actually find it and do it yourself dahil available naman yung data sa internet. And again, just to give you a brief overview how mutual fund works, you can think of a mutual fund as a basket of investments. So meaning you're not buying a single stock, but you are buying a basket of assets and investments. And when you do this kind of investing, meron itong two main advantages. Number one is the professional fund management service. So wala ka nang gagawin, bibili ka na lang ng mutual fund and you let the professional fund manager manage it for you. So hindi ka na mag-iisip kung ano bibilhin, hindi mo na kailangan mag-isip kung kailan ka bibili at kung kailan ka magbebenta. So that is the job of the fund manager. Second benefit is the diversification. And how does this benefit you? So compare natin sa stock market. So let's say ikaw ito, you're a direct investor, so you have very limited funds. So very limited lang din yung mabibili mo. Let's say a certain number of shares of Jollibee. But when it comes to mutual funds, so that it's a pooled fund, so mas marami kayong resources, so hindi lang stocks yung mabibili mo, hindi lang Jollibee, you can even buy several other stocks and even yung tinatawag na bonds or yung mga fixed income instruments. So anong benefit ngayon ito? Let's see. Pag stock market kasi and then down yung Jollibee mo, so down na rin yung entire portfolio mo. Luging-lugi ka na. Whereas in the mutual fund, if malugi man yung isang component mo, let's say nalugi si Jollibee, it could be na yung other components of your holdings, like other stocks that you have in the mutual fund and even yung bonds, ay nagpe-perform ng okay. So in effect, na-offset yung impact ng Jollibee and overall, it could be na positive pa rin yung performance ng mutual fund and na-manage mo yung risks. So in effect, when we talk about diversification, we're actually dealing with something called risk because we believe na each asset has a risk. And therefore, when we do diversification, we are actually doing a risk management strategy. And how do we do it? Well, we mix a variety of investments and therefore we limit our exposure to a single asset and we limit our exposure to a single risk. And there are different levels of diversification that we can make. First level is the company level. So you don't invest in one company. So hindi lang PLDT for example, you go outside PLDT, for example, you buy Globe. Pero anong problem nito? Pag may dumating for example na telco player or mayroon halimbawang pinasang batas na masama sa telco industry, walang kwenta yung diversification mo because both PLDT and Globe are affected. Kaya mayroong another level of diversification. Second is industry. So now you're not just investing in PLDT and Globe, mag-a-add ka na rin ng other companies coming from different industries. The problem is, what if may mangyaring political crisis or may national emergency that can have an effect that will span across industries and it will impact all if not most stocks. So now we do a diversification one level higher, which is on geography. So you'll not just be investing in domestic companies but also on foreign markets. Now, lastly, what will happen if halimbawa mayroong global pandemic like coronavirus? Then we have seen that even global markets are down. Then you now need to invest in other asset classes. So hindi na enough yung stocks lang, hindi na enough yung stock market lang. So you'll now invest in other asset classes like bonds and money market, cash and cash equivalent, real estate, commodities, and etc. So again, the idea is not to be affected by a risk, but to control the impact of the risk. And we have to remember this key idea in diversification. And what is that? That the assets that is comprising your investment should respond differently, often in opposing ways, to market events and other influences. So dapat magkaiba yung magiging behavior ng assets na ito, asset class, to the same market event and other influences. So a traditional example that is commonly given is stocks and bonds. So this is the performance, for example, ng ating stock exchange index. Now this is the performance of bonds. And here we can see that from year 2012 to 2018, stocks is actually going up, but bonds is pretty stagnant. So hindi siya gumagalaw masyado. But 2019 onwards, we can see that stocks is actually going down while bonds start inching up. So we can see that in this figure. So in year 2017, for example, malaki yung performance ng stock market mo and yung bonds mo is very stagnant lang. But come 2018, so malaki naman yung ibinaba ng stock market and yung bonds mo naman is almost stagnant lang din. Then year 2019, so hindi masyadong umakyat yung stock market, but your bonds has performed much better. And here we can see year 2020, so sobrang laki ng binaba ng index, whereas yung sa bonds is hindi ganun kalaki yung binaba. Makikita natin dito that stocks and bonds are responding differently to the same market events. So yun yung sinasabi natin dito sa principle na ito. And in fact, just last year when stock market was struggling with all the political factors affecting its performance, bond funds were able to post double-digit returns in a tough 2019, whereas yung stock index mo and stock funds, so mas mababa. So here we can see na magkaiba yung behavior ng stocks and funds most of the times. Mahalaga na we observe these kinds and levels of diversification, and you can look at this figure no and assess how you can diversify in your existing investment. And the challenge really for us small and retail investors is this. So it can be very difficult with time and budget constraints to actually create a diversified portfolio. If tayo lang yung gagawa nito as a small retail investor, we will need to be monitoring a lot of places and investments. And that can be very difficult for us. And the good thing is we have these mutual funds available that we just have to choose so we can allocate and invest in different asset classes. And remember, we're just talking about investments here. I guess this is also a good practice for us to do diversification when it comes to our personal income. So we are doing investing para meron tayong additional na income. But remember, we can also have additional income from other income streams. Like if you are an employee, you can keep your employment. You can also start thinking about building a side business. Or you can also probably start a rental business para meron kang rental income. Probably you can also consider making online business. You can do buy and selling online and other income streams that you can create. So spend this time and resources to diversify hindi lang doon sa investment mo but also on your income streams. And if you are interested also to watch our other previous video, you can watch this best performing mutual fund in the Philippines, how you can find this mutual fund. So it's available in my video. And if you find this video helpful, so I encourage you to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell. Like this video, share your comments below so that we can reach more Filipinos and teach them how they can create their own financial freedom. So thank you guys for watching and see you in our next video. God bless you. Bye-bye!